If God is speaking, then I would be able to hear him, right? I mean, God is able to speak clearly enough to be heard. So he could speak from heaven or appear to me in a dream or stand in front of me and tell me what's what. Then I would get the message. So why doesn't he just do that? Well, the Bible is actually filled with stories of God speaking and not exactly being understood. God calls to Samuel while he's sleeping, and more than once he thinks that it's his master, Eli. God gives Pharaoh a dream, but it still needs to be interpreted by Joseph. God the Father spoke from heaven to affirm Jesus, and some people thought that they heard thunder. Wait, there's more. God came in the flesh, and some people worshiped him. Other people thought that he was possessed by Satan. Jesus' own parables talk about how some of our hearts are soil that is ready to receive a planted seed, and some of our hearts are filled with rocks and thorns that get in the way. Thomas Aquinas was fond of saying, quid recipiter ad modum, recipientis recipitur. And in case you don't know Latin, that's whatever is received according to the manner of the receiver. And translated once more for how normal humans actually speak, we receive things not as they are, but as we are. This quote is kind of brilliant, and it has nothing to do with just throwing up our hands and saying, oh, well, I guess reality is whatever you make it. That would be a huge misunderstanding of Aquinas. This quote is a poignant reminder that who we are, our character, our maturity, our humility, or arrogance impacts how we receive things. Our relationship with God impacts how we hear him, and it can change over time. Think about the difference between a wedding and a marriage. You can choose to marry someone, and that ceremony only takes about an hour, but then you have the rest of your life to truly get to know your spouse. In the same way, we can choose to follow Jesus in a moment, but there's still a lifetime of coming to know him and hear him and recognize his voice. You see, becoming like Jesus is more than just being moral like he is. It's becoming perfectly in tune with God the Father like he is. Let's not get stuck at the barrier of thinking that no growth is needed. Dallas Willard sums it up like this. Even for those of us who already profess to follow Christ, much inward change will still be needed before we will be able to hear God correctly. So it's good to invite God into our lives, but we can't forget that we still need to grow in our relationship with God once we have. Hearing God's word will never make sense except when it is set within a larger life of a certain kind.